there we have it. Some of the leading contenders for this year's Cheltenham Gold Cup. Paul, how are the two boys, Cato and Denman?
Yeah, they're in good form actually. Saw Cato do a little bit of work this morning. He led a string back and Headlad nearly fell off him at the end of the gallop. He was so fresh and nearly changed his underwear. He is really mad fresh at the moment. It looks fantastic. Ruby had a school on him last week in a racecourse gallop at Wincanton. Couldn't be happy with him. Just watching the replay of the King George, you know, he wasn't running a bad race actually. If he'd jumped the last, it'd definitely been a good second. And he never really travelled as well as he normally does. And I think we're getting better than that. Obviously, he's 11, as is Denman, and they're both going back there for their 6th festival on the trot, which says something about both horses. And I couldn't have him better. Whether he's good enough to win a Gold Cup or not, now I don't know. But I certainly wouldn't rule him out. Denman, he looks good for him. He had his soft palate cauterised after his last run. That seems to improve him a few pounds. Again, he did a great piece of work at Wincanton last week, and you know, everybody knows what they are, but I think they're going there in really good shape. Denman would obviously like to see plenty of rain to be on the soft side, and I think Coulter would like it the other way.
And Paul, we've been talking about the ground all night. I know it's early days still, but what can you see the ground being at Cheltenham?
It's certainly drying up at home at the moment. I don't know, there's all different sorts of forecasts, and we ought to ask Mr. Barber, as the expert on the weather, in a minute. But the Cheltenham, the Gold Cup is run on the new track, which never gets watered in the autumn. The old track always gets loads of water on. We'll always ride slower on the first 2 days. Quite often when they have that Argenta chase in January, a Gold Cup trial, which Neptune Clonge won in January, more often than not, that ground that day is unraceable on the new track and heavy. Well, this year I walked round beforehand, and it was very nearly good ground then in January. So unless they get a lot of rain on the Friday, it can't be anything near as good. I can't see them putting a lot of water on the new track. So if it doesn't rain, it's going to be on the good side, I'd say. If it's going to be soft, that just depends what happens next Wednesday or Thursday.
You couldn't be happier with both of the horses. Paul, thanks very much for that. Interesting stuff. Ruby, you must be chomping at the bit to get back in Cato Star.
Yeah, looking forward to riding him. Obviously, his King George run was a bit disappointing. He was a bit under the weather afterwards, and as Paul said, he made that very bad mistake at the second last, which cost him second. I think this year the Gold Cup will be a straightforward race. Midnight Chase will jump out and go a real good gallop, and it'll be a true test. I don't think the Midnight Chase anywhere near good enough to win a Gold Cup, but I think he'll bring us a real good gallop, and it'll be a real test of stamina. Imperial Commander hasn't appeared since he got home in Haydock, only from Tidal Bay. The form is worthless, to be honest with you. You're taking him on his Gold Cup run last year, because what we've seen of him this year isn't good enough. Long run was hugely impressive in Kempton, but I do think he's ground dependent. Even in France, he needed soft ground. All his best form was on soft ground, and I think unless we get rain, he's going to struggle around Cheltenham. And Denman is Denman. He's a wonderful horse, as Paul has said. They've had his win done. Barry Geraghty says the Hennessy was the best race run all year, and Denman looked top weight and that to finish third, so it's a solid trial. Kempes was good in the Hennessy, and Panorama was very good in the Lexus. They're definitely the best of the Irish. Whether they're quite good enough or not, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see Denman or Cato Star winning the Gold Cup. I think the top two in the betting are very vulnerable.
And he felt good when you sat in him in Wincanton?
Yeah, he felt great. He's in good old order. Probably not as quick as he was, but there's plenty of stamina there, and he's in good heart, and he's in a good frame of mind. And I think Midnight Chase is going to be key to the race, because he's going to go a hell of a gallop. Okay, but you wouldn't swap Cato for anything. Paul, Pandorama. Reading the papers, he done an excellent bit of work last week in Leopardstown.
He did, yeah. He hasn't had a great preparation this year at all. He's had a few hiccups. He's a young pretender like Kempes, and I think if the other top horses don't show their on their game, the two of them would have a great chance. If Cato Star's back for his best, he'll have to have a great chance. Imperial Commander, it's hard to know. I haven't seen him in a while. Long Run seems to be a good horse, but I don't know Cheltenham whether it suit him or not. So Pandorama, I think he is a Gold Cup horse, but whether it be this year or next year, I'm not sure.
Would you be worried about the ground after listening to Paul there a while ago?
Yeah, well, I always thought it was going to be a bit too dry for him. The softer it is, the better. So it's just going to be a bit of a struggle for him. I can't see it being much worse than the easy side of good.
Nice and simple.